Hello, everybody. I'm Roberta Pacino, and this is the Kiss of Fame podcast, where we dive deep into the glitter and the grit on the road to recognition and fame. And today, I have an amazing guest to introduce to you. But first, let's watch the intro video. All right. Today, I have most amazing guest, Sarah Mapelli, who I know as Tink, and she is a visionary metaverse artist and an energy healer and a bee queen. So Tink,
Thank
tell
you.
us all about yourself. Tell
Thank
us,
you for having me
you
here.
know, yeah, I'm so happy you're here. So yeah, so I've known you for a little while, but I know the audience would love to hear like where you came from, how you happened to be doing what you're doing. What brought you from there to here?
Okay. Let's start out with getting into the metaverse. I came into the metaverse um, because I wanted to learn how to use multi-brush and 3D painting. And then I have a great friend, Paige Densinger, and we went to college together, and she took me to Horizon Worlds, and she gave me a code when it was in beta, and so I was able to play with her there. And then I just fell into the multiverse before it was right at the beginning. And right at the beginning, I decided, oh, we need an artist district. And I found an area that looked like where my mom's art studio was when I was in high school.
Oh,
And that's how I got here. I mean, we'll dive deep into each thing, I guess, as we go along.
yeah. Y- well, go ahead. I didn't
No,
mean
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you. Okay. So I'm really interested in with the also with the energy healing and the bees, and we can talk about how that all kind of intermingles with the metaverse. But the
Yes.
whole, yeah, tell us a little bit about your dancing with the bees. That's just so amazing.
Okay. Yes, I am known as the bee queen. I dance with like a whole hive of bees on my body, like 12,000 to 14,000 bees. And I started dancing with bees in 2021. The first time was for a large art piece about nature versus nurture, about the good of the one versus the best for the whole. And that was a 6,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. And it was myself dancing with bees surrounded by a pristine cul-de-sac. And all these perfect houses where everybody had their own blender and everybody had their own whatever table saw. And how could we share instead of each person being sort of greedy or in solitude without community? And it's a fantastic piece. If you want to see it, you can go to my website. Um, from there, I was asked to uh, dance for a movie about biodynamic beekeeping called Queen of the Sun. And from there, it spurred on a lot of interest. And then in the last 7 or 8 years, I've been incorporating dancing with bees and my energy work.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you, so how do you do that? I mean, you haven't said much about your energy work yet. So how does that work with dancing with the bees?
Okay. Yeah, it's good. So I've been doing energy work since I was 18, and I call it transparent body energy realignment. I used to call it Sarah's secret surgery juju because I really love to work with people post and pre-op operation, getting ready for, prepping the body for surgery. So I do long distance and in-person sessions. I love to work in hospitals, so it's energy work, scanning the body. My right hand like shakes crazy when there's something that's stuck or needs to be realigned in the body. And it's really one of my favorite worlds to be in. It's sort of the ethereal world of our energetic selves. And I've worked on people all over the world from my home doing long distance work. And I used to have an office in Portland, Oregon, which now I shut down during COVID and I work from home. Or I go
That
to
fascinates
hospitals.
me that fascinates me that you can do it long distance.
Yeah, it's
And
really
what kind of,
amazing.
yeah, it is very amazing.
Yeah.
I've had some experience in person, but long distance, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
can tell you
terrific. Yeah.
how I set up. I lay I have a massage table in space, and then I figure out talking to the person. I have them lay on their back with the crown of their head facing a direction that works for their space, and they say to me, "Oh, the crown of my head will be facing north." So I lay down a body, and then I will call them beforehand, and we know what we're going to work on. Like, are we working on kidneys, or working on a spiritual session, or a physical, or a blockage? Um, and then I just let my hands guide me. And then I tell them, and what's so fascinating is people laying in Italy or in Portland, wherever they are, they usually are feeling the sensation with me.
Wow.
And yes, I've had some really,
That's
really
fantastic.
incredible sessions. I love it so much. Yeah.
So
One of my
how have you,
favorite.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, one of my
I want to hear
favorite
your favorite thing.
people, one of my favorite people that I've worked on is really, really a dear person to my heart. Frederick Vreeland, who is the ex-ambassador to Morocco and a good family friend. And he was going in for a back surgery at the age of, I think it was 81 or 86 at that time. And myself and the Dalai Lama were his medical um, like side people besides his doctors that he worked with. And the doctors were really afraid for him to have a surgery, and they were so amazed how well he did. And he had been in pain for years, and all of a sudden he
That's
wasn't in pain.
fantastic.
So he's one of my most favorite
Wow.
stories.
That's very inviting.
Yeah.
Not being in any pain is very inviting. So how are you incorporating your work with the energies, with the bees, within the metaverse? How is the metaverse serving that?
Yeah. Well, I did make a 30 NFT collection of like 30 different images, all with the bees. And each one is how you can access community or thinking about yourself in relationship to bees. And so I was able to make a beautiful gallery in the multiverse for those NFTs. And I love just going in there and talking to people about how does it feel to be surrounded by bees? What is the sensation of a swarm of bees? And how can we think of ourselves in more of a community way of being like the bees do? They each take turns throughout their life with different projects, and then they work together as almost like one organ or one being, um, for the good of the whole. So that's one reason, one great things. In Horizon Worlds, I'm working on a new healing space that I can do long distance sessions in, and that's in the creative stage now. So I'm really looking forward to having that offering. Now that we have the lay down thing, I can actually ask people to lay down, and
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah, so I'm really looking
Oh, how
forward to that.
exciting. What a
I
perfect
know.
place
What I
for it.
really would love is to
Because you
have
can
the
reach
hands
everybody
free.
all over the world.
I can't wait. Can't
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
I'm really diving into how does that look? Because for me, when I'm working on somebody, I actually see an image often, or have a sensation. Like when I run over like calcium buildup, my wrist makes a strange noise. And so I've been able to feel like, are we on the nervous body system level, or are we on a fluid blood system, or are we dealing with bones or joints? So I'm really excited to dive into using the maybe I think it will be Horizon Worlds, um, the aspect of being able to show someone a visual of like, okay, here's what I'm seeing. Maybe I'll be able to draw it as I work on someone.
Mm.
So, and maybe that will have a multi-brush. So I'm really playing with like the opportunity to do that here. I'm really looking forward to it. It will hopefully
So
we'll
much
get it
opportunity in the
rolling really soon.
metaverse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so on the subject of fame, um, can you tell me what that means to you and how you think it influences people? Um, Also, you're known as the bee queen. So if you could
Yeah.
how did that
Yeah.
happen? Was there how did you become the bee queen?
I think
So
what
I'm
we
interested
did
in the fame aspect of that. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. After we did the movie, and we had some, yeah, because the first bee dance really was all photography, so I didn't do any video on that bee dance. And then the second one we did for the entrance to the movie Queen of the Sun, and that video went viral really fast, which was my own editing of that video. And after that, I did get a lot of interviews. I did some interviews in Australia and in Portland, and quite a few podcasts and Huffington Post. So it was really exciting, and it was really fast and hard to keep up with. And MTV wanted to, grab one of my videos, and that's when I really had to start like talking to a lawyer, and I had to, I told MTV that I wasn't interested in working with them because they wanted to own all the rights, and they were, you know, it got to the point where I didn't feel safe. So I kind of had to
Oh,
back off. And then I got approached a lot by America's Got Talent, probably about 6 times. But I really wanted it to be about educating people about bees, and they wanted me to learn a special like dance step and do all this stuff that, so there was it's definitely a double-edged sword. How do you you know make sure that you're protecting what you're doing and that it's not going to be
Yes,
used for the wrong. So I guess
absolutely.
what I found is that I had to sort of back off from it at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking for a different way to make sure that what you, or I just like what you bring out into the world, how do you make sure that it's not just taken and twisted around?
Right. And that's
Yeah,
something that you're still working on because you
yeah,
want to promote what you're doing because it's really for the benefit of all
yeah, yeah,
and you want to keep it for the benefit of all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I, I,
lately
I
I've just,
understand that and
yeah,
I hope you find a way to do that.
thank you. Yeah, lately I've been
Go ahead.
doing the bead dances at my home in my garden, and uh, I do one every couple years. I'm not going to do one this year. I'm going to do one next year. I have a bigger vision of it, so I really want to take the time to do it the way I want it. And I really love to travel. I did have one planned in Italy right before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and you know how you're on a momentum and you have all these things set up, and then after COVID, I haven't been able to rein that in, but eventually I'd love to do a like international bee dance where I just go from like continent to continent. I have enough beekeeper people on Facebook. I could make that happen. It's just finding the
Oh,
time.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
So, okay,
that's
so I have a
exciting.
whole bunch of more questions for you, but let's just take a break and see a video and then we'll
Okay,
start over again, okay? All
great. I
right.
love it. Fabulous. Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Okay, I think I'm moving wrong here. I good?
You're doing great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that was my that was my Etsy store, my Etsy ads, and yeah, I do paintings and I put them on a lot of products and they're available at
That's
Etsy.
super.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so yeah, I'm we've covered a few things here. So um
Well,
what
I
has
have,
the
okay.
okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I think you asked me something and then we didn't get back to it. So,
Okay,
which
good.
was, what is it like to, what's the doing the bee dance and how does that work as far as my healing work? Like that's something you kind of asked
Yes,
me
yes,
about.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So during a bee dance, we have a large circle of participants, and we have everyone come and dress in white because white is sort of like makes you like a cloud to the bees. And we have different musicians, different times. I've had East Indian raga. Um, live East Indian raga bands. Last year we had a experimental musician slash DJ. Um, and in the circle, I come into the circle and I interact with each person individually. And it's really incredible to see people's reactions because at first people are afraid. The people
Understandable.
usually come up to me and they tell me how scared they are of bees, their first
Right.
experience of being stung. It's either the stories I hear from people are how they got stung or their grandfather mostly was a beekeeper. And I love it when people come up and say, my grandmother was a beekeeper. That makes me so happy. Um, or my mother, I think there's becoming more and more women beekeepers are like
Oh,
showing up like,
really?
hey, here we are.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Or we've always been here, but everyone always says my grandfather. Anyway, um, so when I approach somebody, we're probably about maybe 10 feet from each other or less. And I love seeing people's face of like they're scared and then they melt into this beautiful aha. Like I get it. We are all together in this. We are all together in this.
Wow.
And it is the most beautiful thing to see someone's face just like the light changes with each person and sometimes I get really, really special things that I need to tell to someone. Like, I'd love to figure out how I could have a like record as I'm going so I can talk to people and tell them things, that happen because often I will write if I know who's participating, I'll write them a note like, what do you want to focus on while you're at the bee dance? What is your intention for coming? So
Oh,
that
I
we can
see.
actually, yeah, so that when I come to you and I'm like, oh, okay, this person wants to move some energy out of the left hip, or this person is looking for their next place they're going, um, or they're in a transition. So I really love that moment. And then afterwards, I will take the bees off and then walk around and sit with people. We usually have like a pollination feast. People are asked to bring a dish of food that's pollinated by bees and they share food and get to know each other before we have the dance together. So it's an all day event.
I had no
Yeah, and that
idea.
usually,
I just kind of imagined you in the distance dancing with bees, not coming in and it being a personal experience for everybody. That is just like so
yeah,
fantastic. So
yeah.
is there a particular, like just some experience that you had that stands out that you can share with us
A specific experience.
with some,
Um,
with somebody?
well, there are so many. There's so many. But I am remembering a friend of mine, Philip, and when I approached him, he had the most. His face was so afraid. He was so afraid, and and then and then he like got the biggest grin. Like I've never seen him smile so big. And afterwards, he said that was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So, oh, and then I had this wonderful thing. Maybe Michael is watching. Uh, he was singing it for me, Indian ragas, and I said, "Okay, this is what's going to happen. Um, I'm going to come into the center, and I'm going to approach you first before you start singing. Um, for the dance." And when I got to him, he couldn't look at me because it just brought up so emotions. He just couldn't look at me. He was hiding, and I was thinking to myself, "You have to sing. You're supposed to sing." So yeah, it definitely brings up this amazing sense of inclusion because all my whole torso is moving by itself. I've had people say that I look like an alien because my torso it's just is so alive, and they really like to come near my ears so that it's really loud for me. I basically am just hearing this droning, humming, oming sound around my body.
Sounds
And
amazing.
then they push me and I resist them, and that's how we dance. So it's a duet.
The
And
bees are dancing with you.
yeah,
They're
they're
leading.
kind of dancing me. They're kind of dancing
They're
me.
dancing
Be-
you.
g- Yeah,
Ah,
because they'll kind of like sometimes it feels like the ocean or water because they'll move in certain ways that will undulate. So I have to follow them. So they really lead me.
so
Yeah, it's like it's definitely a give and take.
Tink, you're. I think what you do. I mean, to me, it's so unique, and eh, I'm wondering, and I'm really open. I'm open minded, so I love all this kind of stuff. But I mean, if you go out into the world, so how do you deal with like the public perception? Like, if somebody might think, oh, like, hey, what do they think about, like, if they don't think energy healing works, or they don't believe
Right,
in
right.
that? How do you deal with that,
I've
with people's misconceptions?
I just learned too that you have to just ignore that kind of stuff. It's not really helpful or healthy. Know, sometimes people think, "Oh, how do you do that?" And I said, "Well, if you drive a car, even like 10 miles, you have like run over tons of bugs, or just being in the world is harmful, right?" So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting.
Uh,
For me, it's about like I get to educate people. After a bee dance a few years ago, someone called me up and she said, "I just want you to know I see the world differently." And I said, "Well, then to me, I've done my job. If one person can see the world differently," and she said, "I now go outside to my outside lawn because she mows her lawn." She said, "Hey, everyone, I'm mowing the lawn in 20 minutes. So everyone should leave." And then she's like, "I went out and I warned everyone I was going to mow the lawn, talking to the bees. And
oh,
so
I see. Okay, she
it's
wanted to be
those kind of moments when people say to me,
for
that
sure.
changed my perception. That's my job,
Absolutely. So,
and
we're going to show a video soon. I've got one more question, and then we're going to show the video that you sent. So, when I'm asking you this question, if there's anything you want to tell people about the video that's coming up about your
okay. Oh,
work.
great.
Okay, but
I really had
so
so much.
go
Okay, go
ahead.
ahead.
Well, that's pretty much what I was going to ask you. Just what advice would you give them, and talk about it a little bit. Emerging artists. Um, yeah. What advice
For
would you give
emerging
emerging
artists,
artists?
and yeah, I think my number one place is travel. You know, if you haven't left America or you haven't left where you live, get out and travel, get other perspectives, um, join the metaverse. This is a great way to travel. Let's say you can't travel because you have a job, or you can't travel because you're going to school, but you want to meet people. The metaverse is such a great place to meet people,
Absolutely.
to learn to create. There's so many apps. There's painting VR if you're a painter. There's Vermilion. There's so like I could be in here all day creating art.
And
There is
emerging creators and healers. Um,
yes.
can you give some advice there?
I think it depends on where you live, I think, as far as healers. I would look for communities. Communities are helpful because it's still esoteric, though I think in lots of places around the world they are bringing more healers and helpers into hospital settings or more into bigger therapy offices. But I think finding a community is really one of the best plays. What I'm meeting in the metaverse, I'm meeting lots of people who do meditation or teach meditation. So that's something that's really emerging
So maybe they
here,
can
and I
find
think
community in the metaverse. Could an emerging healer find community in the metaverse?
I don't know yet. I feel like I have about 2 people to talk to. Yeah. So I want to start a little group of us for sure.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're,
Yeah.
we're going to play your video now. Is there anything you want to say about it before it comes on?
Yeah. There's so many things about me that I don't that I didn't even touch upon. So I have a new digital collection for Horizon Worlds. So they're little animals that wave, and if you're interested in purchasing I call them digitals to you lucky pedigree, PET, lucky pedigree,
Will we
and
see?
they're
Will we see
really
them on the video? Will we
yeah.
see them?
You'll see them on
Yeah.
the video. You'll
Okay.
also
All right.
see. Okay, well, let's view it, and then we can talk about
Let's
things
do it.
afterwards.
Let's roll it. Then we'll talk
Okay.
about. Okay.
Okay. Super.
All right. That's great. I'm not
That's fun.
okay. Excuse me. So,
It's fun to
yeah,
watch that because it makes me think, wow, I have so much going on. I have so much
you
going
do,
on. You just
and it's
forget
also
how
unique
many
and
people I am.
thrilling. So, yeah, I'm going to ask the audience now if they have any questions, unless there's something you want to say first. Are you ready for that?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, so,
Let's see. Is there anything else? There's so many things.
right.
But yes,
Yeah.
my new thing, I guess, right now is that I'm going to start having like some classes out in the gorge, Washington, which would be about homesteading, like how to make fermented vegetables or how to make uh, apple cider vinegar. So starting to sort of teach people some of those important things to know, survival skills
Oh,
in
nice.
as food as food
Fantastic.
storage, and yeah, so that's a few other
Yeah,
new
another
things that
thing. That
are
wasn't on the
on
video,
the
I guess.
brew.
So that's the
Yeah,
new, the latest thing.
the
Yeah.
latest.
Does anybody?
Yes.
Yeah, the latest. It sounds really good. I always, when I see pictures of what you do, I'm like, how does she do that? So I'm sure a lot of
Yeah,
people want to
we're
know how you do all those things you do. So
yes.
does anybody have any questions for Tink?
Doo, doo.
Questions for Tink?
Well, I have a question for you, Tink. you know,
Okay.
uh, with you sharing about bees and all that, that you do with bees, can you demystify some myths that people have about bees that most people don't know about?
Okay. Well, I think something that's really important is that a bee will take their whole life, within their whole life, will only make less than a teaspoon of honey. So if you're at a restaurant and they serve you honey, please use it all up because every time that honey is wasted, you're like wasting a whole lifetime of work. Um, I think that's really important for people to know. And
Yeah, I had no idea.
buy honey from your local beekeepers. Support your local beekeepers. They really need your support. Go to the farmers market and buy your honey. Or at least buy organic honey. Um, and you know, bees, like without bees for their pollination, we would really be out of so many foods that you eat. And most people probably know that. Yeah.
Uh,
And
I
they're
have
the most
a
wonderful
question about
friends.
that too.
Yeah.
So about the honey, it was interesting because my grandson was playing with Play-Doh and he was trying to make honey. And so we looked up the color of honey and it has all different colors. There's different types of honey.
Right.
So he mixed two different honeys together to get his, but I mean, I often, I've heard that the honey you choose should be like if you're not feeling well, it should be from your local area or, because of the different, I don't know, bacteria, whatever that's in the area. I mean, is there any way
Well,
to
no, it's
like
the
pick the
pollen.
right honey?
So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
the
the pollen.
pollen and the
Okay.
nectar from the plants that are in your area. If you have allergies, then it will help your allergies. Or you can
Allergies.
eat
Okay.
you can even just buy the pollen that's collected from bees. Um, then there's the propolis. That's the part that they use sort of to glue their hive together. It also has a lot of antibacterial uh, constituents. It's so complicated. They can't even this like scientists can't even figure out what's in propolis. Yeah, propolis, which is
Oh,
what they use to glue their
yeah.
hives together. So what the bees do is it's really complicated. You can tell when if you have a certain like if you have a lot of nectar being collected from certain flowers, then you can even see it sometimes in your hive, different colors of honey.
Oh,
So
you
it's really
can.
pretty neat. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
that's
why
really neat.
pollen is different colors too. Hmm.
So do we
I
have
have
any?
a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sherry.
I'm just what inspired you? Because this is such a fascinating art that you do. And have you seen bee dancers before? Was there somebody that kind of directed you? Was there a course? How does one? I, I'm I'm just
I'm the
amazed.
only person who does this, and I came
Wow.
to it because I had an image in my head. I had
Mm-hmm.
an image in my head which was for the puzzle, and then while I was dancing with them, I was like, this is just how it feels when I'm doing energy work on someone. It has the same push pull energetic magnetic feeling. So
Mm.
it was really completely natural for me when I worked with a professor of entomology to help me do the first one, and then to teach me how to do it for myself. Um, he was like, "Oh, are you done?" And I'm like, "Oh no." He's like, "It's been over 2 hours," and
Oh,
normally
wow.
he's like, "All right." I think and I could have been there. I could have stayed for a long time. I was asked from a TV show in China if I would like try and do this thing where I'd be covered in as many bees as possible for
Mm-hmm.
however long, the longest amount of time. And I said, well, yeah, I'm willing to talk to you. Then they didn't get back to me. Maybe it was too much
Mm.
for them to get me to China or whatever. But yeah, um, I taught myself, and I have to say the bees taught me. Yeah.
That is just
Wow.
fascinating. Wow.
Fascinating. Yes.
So
Yeah.
another question that was asked in our Facebook group, how many times have you been stung, Tinks?
That's like the number one question. Um, you know, normally in the bee dance, I will get maybe 2 or 4 stings. Maybe probably about 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 4. But the most I've ever been stung at once was 16, because we were doing a movie clip, and the way that we had thought about having me merge out of the ground in bees, it just didn't work like we thought. So yeah, but that was
You
just
didn't like it.
I just considered it medicine. Have you heard of apitherapy, which is actually using bee sting venom for certain types of like um MS is something people are using it for, or joint problems. So
Are
I
they
thought
getting
of it
good
as
results
a
with that?
healing.
Is that working somewhat? They're
Say that
getting good
again?
results. Are they
Yeah,
getting good results
yeah,
using that?
yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
apitherapy.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Please don't spray. Everyone gets out there, they're like, I'm going to spray my dandelions. Okay, number one, dandelions are amazing food for yourself, but they are also the bees' very first food of spring, uh, besides other things, but they are the most prolific things for the bees. And if you use Roundup, your bees that are coming into your yard and you don't have bees, they're coming from 3 to 5 miles away. Okay, so you are your radius of 3 to 5 miles is disturbing everyone if you're spraying, and everyone meaning all the insects and your fellow neighbors. I've had a hive die because the road crew sprayed, and I saw my hive die within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, all the bees touch each other. they're in their hives, they touch each other. So they spread the pesticides. It only takes 12 bees to have pesticides on them to kill a whole hive. And I've watched it happen. It is devastating.
How many
So
bees are
please
in a
don't
hive?
spray. You can 15 to 20,000 to 60,000, depending on how big the hive is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's like different recipes always floating around. Lately what I've been doing is burning like things. I don't even do that anymore. I just cut down the weeds and use them and put them in your compost. Just get out there and get your hands dirty. I think sprays were invented to make it fast and make it easy, but I'm really just getting out there and I'm gonna pick this dandelion and I'm gonna fry it up and I'm gonna eat it, or I'm gonna put it in a salad, or I'm gonna dig out the root and dry it and grind it up and make an alternative coffee. So learning what your weeds are and how you can use them, or just digging them up and putting them in your compost. So get sweaty, I guess. That's that's the alternative. Get out there
Sweat.
and
That's the
work a
best
bit.
thing.
You know,
That's
put on
good.
get some bark dust.
But what about like pests, like that are all over the vegetables and stuff? How do you get rid of them?
You can use a little dish soap and water. I've
Wash them off.
heard, and I've tried this. Yeah, yeah. Some chili, different recipes. I think you just have to maybe experiment for
Mhm.
your area. That's what
Right.
you know. Um,
Okay.
like aphids, I usually just cut off that part and get rid of them.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, do we have any other questions? Does anybody have any questions?
This is
You're all
really
done.
wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is wonderful. Yeah, I don't believe there's any more questions. So, is there anything that you want to say? Do you want to, how do people reach you? Anything you want to leave
Oh yeah,
with
I'll
the
put
with the
my
audience?
you can email me at mapellistudio@yahoo.com. And if anyone would like to book a session with me, an energy session, my sessions are they last 40 minutes to an hour and a half. Just it's a session time. I don't have a time limit. And I work from home, so I'm available anytime. And if you get a session from me, I will give you a free digital asset from my Horizon Worlds if you have a Horizon Worlds account. I'd love that to do that as a gift from this podcast.
That's wonderful. A waving
Yeah,
kitty? Right?
a waving
Yay.
kitty or rabbit or robot. Yeah.
Hey,
So again, you can find me at Mapelli, Mapelli studio studio at yahoo.com. And then we'll put a link in to my Biz in the Box, I guess, under. Do you have links up anywhere, Tara? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Pink Pearl Dragon Posse or Sarah Mapelli Tink. Yes. And then visit us in the multiverse at the Wild Scale Studio store. Wild Skill Store, and
It's a Wild
can
Skill Store where
just-
we'll find your NFTs. Is that-
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
In the NFT collection in the Wild Skill Store.
Which supports the bees also. When
Yes.
you sell the NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, come and visit
Absolutely.
Tink and the Multiverse or Horizon World. Go to her website. And next time you have a bee dance, I'm going to try to make it. Even though I have never been stung
Yes.
by a bee and I'm scared to death, but I know
It's
you'll fix
okay.
that.
Everyone,
And
there's lots of
life-changing.
people that are scared, and then afterwards, they realize that they didn't need to be.
Right. That's
They
what I
didn't
want to
need to be.
realize. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, this has been really fun.
yeah, it has been fantastic.
We could go on forever.
We could, I
couldn't we?
know. Well, I guess we have to end the live, but I've loved having you here, and I hope you come back sometime and we'll talk some more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody. Bye from Roberta Pacino at Kiss of Fame podcast and Tink's Playground, the Bee Queen.
Yay. Thank you so
Yay,
much.
And we can wave. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for coming.